Next topic, the document splitting. For this, it's better to activate initially itself the document splitting. Then we can avoid the migration activity. If you want to prepare any financial statements below company code level, so the P&L account and balance sheet which we are preparing for statutory or legal reporting purpose at company code level. If we need the financial statements below company code level, and that should be 100% accurate. That means that is fulfilling double entry system. Then in those cases, we need to implement a document splitting. With this reason itself, at the time of profit center accounting activation, we did not created the dummy profit center. That means we assumed that we are going to activate the document splitting. The document splitting functionality will ensure that each and every line item in each document will have the profit center, will determine the profit center through derivation rules. That's why we no need to create the dummy profit center, and didn't created. Now, what is the document splitting? Whenever we are creating accounting document, we are posting multiple line items, maybe two line item or three line items in one of the document, multiple line items. These accounting line items are splitted based on the certain characteristics. That means which characteristics you need to take as a base, or according to which you want to split these line items. According to that characteristics, the line items are being splitted whenever you post a accounting document. So this splitting functionality, the splitting of line items in your accounting document, this we are calling it as a document splitting. What are the specified characteristics? Means based on which criteria you want to split your accounting line item. So that criteria here we are calling it as a characteristic. In additional, in other terms, we can call it as a account assignment object also, right? So based on your account assignment object, system is splitting your line items. What is account assignment object? Whenever you are posting line item, for example, you are posting salaries account. Initially, you are posting only salaries account. After implementing controlling module, or maybe you are entering profit center, that means you are assigning the profit center, which is related to this salaries GL account. You will enter cost center, you are entering the business area, you are entering the segment. Of course, a few we will enter manually. The remaining system will derive automatically based on certain account assignment. Whatever it may be, for one GL account, the additional objects, whatever we are assigning, this we will call it as a account assignment objects. Same here we are calling it as a characteristic. Means based on which criteria you are expecting our system is splitting the line item, that specific characteristic we can call it as a characteristic. For example, I want to split my GL line items based on the profit center, or based on the segment, or based on the business area, whatever criteria you entered. So that we are calling it as a characteristic. Based on these characteristics, the SAP is splitting your accounting line items. Then which characteristic I need to enter? You decide in your business organization, below company code level or above company code level. Sometimes if the profit center is more than the company code, means other than company code, at which level you are expecting the financial statements you want. So that you need to provide to the system, at this level I need to split my accounting line items. So at the end, what is the benefit for me if I use document splitting? Then accurate financial statements can be prepared below company code level. That's the advantage you will get. And also to fulfill certain legal reporting requirements. How can it fulfill the legal reporting requirement? For example, segment reporting. As per IAS 14 standard, or maybe as per IFS rules, the segment reporting is also is a legal requirement or statutory requirement we are expecting. Then that segment level reporting is not possible if you have not implemented document splitting. So that means if segment level reporting is a mandatory for you as per certain gap and we need to fulfill, so that segment level reporting can be fulfilled if I implement document splitting functionality. So not only for internal reporting purpose, the external reporting also to fulfill the document splitting will help us. Right? So this document splitting functionality we need to implement in S4 system. It will be good to avoid migration activities further. Now this document splitting can be divided into three types. Number one, active splitting. Another name, we can call it as a rule-based splitting also. Number two, passive splitting. Number three, zero balanced splitting, zero based. So total three types of document splittings are there. What is the account based splitting, or we can say rule based splitting? As the name suggesting itself, the accounting line items will split based on certain rules. There are splitting rules are there in the system which is created by standard SAP, predefined splitting rules we are calling. That means the customer we are not created. Whenever you install SAP by default, based on the certain business organizations analysis, SAP whatever is required, that rules already created in the SAP system. So by using those predefined splitting rules, we are splitting our accounting line items. Then that type of splitting is called active splitting, or we can call it as a rule based splitting, because for it the base is rule. The splitting rule already is there splitting rule. That's why we are using, or we are calling it as a rule based splitting. The SAP is provided the splitting rules. That's why we are saying a standard splitting rule or predefined splitting rule. If those rules are not meeting our requirement, or if we want, due to any reason, I don't want to use that rule, I want to create my own rule, then in that case, if we want, we can create our own rules. Generally, all the companies will use whatever the standard rules SAP has provided, the same. Over and above, if we have a different requirement, or maybe one or two rules is not matching our requirement, then only that we can create our own instead of creating everything as a new rule. For example, if you are preparing invoice, anything you can take as a customer invoice or maybe vendor invoice. Inventory account debit 5,000 rupees, for example, to vendor account 5,000 you entered. And you are purchasing related to profit center 1, the stock. Maybe you created the profit center within the plant level or maybe within the plant multiple, whatever it may be, that scenario we'll see later. Now here the profit center is related to 1, you are purchasing the stock, and then in inventory account we assigned profit center 1. Generally in the vendor line item there is no option to enter profit center, right? If you have document splitting functionality, generally it will inherit into the other line item also, the profit center. Fine. Here the both profit centers are same, there is no problem. But what we are doing, sometimes we are purchasing 2-3 materials at the same time. One material is related to profit center 1 and another material is related to profit center 2. So 5,000 rupees material we are purchasing, which is related to profit center 1, and another material also 5,000 that belong to profit center 2 from the same vendor, the same PO we purchased. Then to vendor account we need to liable 10,000. Now system need to take profit center 1 or profit center 2. If we take profit center 1, at inventory level, if you prepare now balance sheet, at the stock or the balance sheet side, in profit center 1 you are writing 5,000, but on the liabilities side you are writing 10,000. The double entry system is not matching. In profit center 2 on the asset side you are writing 5,000, but profit center 2 doesn't have any credit line item. So only one aspect you are putting in one profit center, one leg, and another leg you are putting into a different profit center. So it's not fulfilling double entry system. Then here system will find a splitting rule, that means predefined splitting rule, which is created by standard SAP already. By using this predefined splitting rule. SAP will split these line items. Now, how it will split the line items? The vendor account will be splitted based on the inventory line item. So after document splitting, we can see the journal entry as this based on inventory line item. SAP will split the vendor account. For example, this vendor account 5000 belong to profit center 1. And again one more line item will be created to vendor account 5000 profit center 2. This is after document splitting. The user entered like this, but the SAP what it will do, it will split the line items and it will post the entry here. If you are seeing the document after posting, however user is entered, however user is inputted line items, in the same way, if we see the document or if I want to see the document, whenever you are seeing the document, SAP has provided us two views. How to you want to view your accounting document? I want to see my accounting document, how I entered. Then that is called entry view. I want to see the accounting document after document splitting, how it is splitted. Then in that case, you need to go to GL view. In GL view, you can see how the SAP has splitted or additional line items it brought, and also if it required, it enrich with another characteristics. For example, segment you didn't enter, I need segment also. Then in that case, what system will do? System will determine the another characteristics and it will fill the additional characteristics after document splitting. For example, user didn't enter segment field, but SAP enriched by filling the additional characteristic that is a segment also. Sometimes I need report at profit center level, and sometimes I need report, that means financial statement, P&L account at balance sheet at segment level also. So then SAP has filled the segment characteristic values also. So we can see in GL view not only additional line items which are splitted by due to document splitting functionality, but also we can see additional specified characteristics which you want. So now this splitting is happened based on certain splitting rule. That's why this we are calling it as a rule based splitting or active splitting. Then how SAP has created these splitting rules? What splitting rule will contain? How the splitting rule will help the system to split the line items? Generally, for understanding purpose, we can say the splitting rule contains two parts. Number one, which line items need to be splitted? And number two, based on which line item? In our case, which line items is splitted? For example, inventory account. Sorry, not inventory account, vendor account. Here only one vendor line item you have, but that one vendor has been splitted into two line items. So which line item need to be splitted? Vendor account or vendor line item or the vendor reconciliation GL account. So vendor GL reconciliation account need to be splitted based on which line item? Based on inventory account. So how inventory account is there, according to that the reconciliation account need to be splitted. That we are telling in the splitting rule. So that we will call it as a splitting rule. This already SAP told in the splitting rule that always your vendor line item, that means vendor recon GL account need to be splitted based on inventory account. So that's why your inventory as a base, the vendor line item has been splitted. 5000 is to 5000, 1 is to 1 ratio, it is splitted. The second one is the passive splitting. As the name suggesting, passive, it doesn't have its own rule. It's not active. It's dependent on other. The rules it will borrow from somewhere. It doesn't have its own rule. Generally, this passive splitting will take place at the time of whenever you are doing payment. That means either incoming payment or outgoing payment, or maybe you are doing a clearing, or you are posting a document with reference to another document. So at that time, system will use the passive splitting. Whenever we are doing payments, or maybe whenever we are doing clearing, so at that time the passive splitting will come into the picture. That means the payment always we will do with reference to invoice. The clearing also we will do with reference to some other document. Then here what system will do, whenever you are posting payment or clearing, it will see the invoice, how the invoice is splitted. Whenever you are posting invoice, for example this one, it's based on some splitting rule, predefined splitting rule. Already there is a splitting rules are there, which need to be splitted based on which line item. The same splitting rules will flow into the payment document or into the clearing document. I don't want to use the same splitting rule. I want to use a different rule. That's not possible because you don't have your own rule. You are not in an active part. This is a passive. The rules will be moved, the same splitting rule from invoice to payment document or clearing document. We cannot change the rules or we cannot escape from this splitting rule whenever you are posting your payment transactions or clearing transaction. So now how the payment document I posted, it is created. For example, you made payment to the vendor 10,000 rupees through bank. Then how the system will post this payment entry? Will it post vendor account debit to bank account? If you don't have splitting rule, then normally it's a vendor account debit to bank account. But now system what it will do, vendor account debit 5,000, then your profit center 1, then again vendor account debit to 5,000, profit center account 2. So these two line items are based on your previous invoice. Accordingly, it is splitted. Then according to vendor, again same, the bank account also will be splitted. To bank account 5,000, profit center 1. And again to bank account 5,000, profit center 2. So this we will call it as a passive splitting. For this we don't have any specific rules. It doesn't depend on a particular, it's not using its own rule. It's always dependent with reference to which document you are posting. I am posting invoice, then from invoice the rules will be defaulted into this document, and according to that it will split the line items. If you post with reference to some other document, in that document whatever the rules are there already, that rules will be defaulted to this document. The next third one is zero balance splitting. What is a zero balance splitting? It will help us not only the document is balanced as per your double entry system, but also we need to ensure the characteristics whatever we are assigning at the time of document posting, like profit center segment, that also need to be balanced as per the double entry system to ensure that it is doing zero balance splitting. So normally we are following double entry system, right? If you go to any document, for each debit aspect there should be a corresponding credit aspect, or for each credit aspect there should be a corresponding debit aspect. That means if you do debit 1000, the credit line item also should be there with 1000. But I will do debit 1000 and credit 500. If I post, will it allow? No. So always any accounting document you take in SAP, it is fulfilling your double entry system. Debit is matching exactly with the credit. If 0.01 difference is also there, system will not allow to post. That's fine. The document is balanced. But I want to balance the characteristic also. That means at characteristic level also, I need to fulfill the double entry system. If you want to ensure that, then we need to use zero balance splitting also. For example, we are posting salaries account debited to cash account, and these salaries you are you are paying for the employees who are working in the profit center one, maybe plan or whatever you categorize it as a profit center one. And the cash also, if you are using from profit center one, then fine. Now let's see how the document is balanced or not. Debit I am doing 5000, so credit also 5000. Now this is double entry system is fulfilled at a document level. For example, this is document number 1. What is the characteristic we are using? Profit center 1. Now you ensure at characteristic level also the double entry system is fulfilled or not. Profit center 1 is debited 5000, profit center 1 is credited 5000. Here document 1 is debited 5000, document 1 is credited 5000. So this is fine. This is good. Exactly, double entry system is fulfilled. Very good. Now profit center 1 is debited 5000, profit center 1 is credited 5000. Then profit center 1 also fine. And the next month, what I am doing, I am posting salary account debit to cash account, same. I am repeating, but this time I don't have cash in the profit center 1. I am using from profit center 2 because this is the same legal entity, right? Only for internal purpose you want to classify or you want to segregate your profit center 1 and profit center 2. Now document 2 is debited 5000, credit also 5000. It's fine, fulfilled. Now, what characteristics you are using? I am using one is profit center 1 or additional account assignments, and second I am using profit center 2. Two characteristics I am using now. Profit center 1 is debited 5000 and profit center 1 is not credited. For profit center 1, there is a debit. In profit center 1, there is no credit. So double entry system is not fulfilling here. Profit center 2 is credited 5,000, but where is the profit center 2 debit entry? That is not there. So both characteristics, the double entry system is not fulfilled. In profit center 1, you are putting debit, but I want now credit. The credit is missing. This I need it, whatever is missing. Profit center 2, there is a credit, but profit center 2, there is no debit. So these two legs are missing. Now the zero balance splitting will ensure, or will do some changes, will split the line items or will bring the new line items, and it will ensure that the profit center 1 is fine, it fulfilled at double entry system, and profit center 2 also fine. When it is fine, profit center 1, whenever you have a credit for profit center 1, whenever you have a debit for profit center 2. So now after zero balance splitting, this document to how it will appear. The new line item will bring this zero balance splitting. The GL description, whatever you want, you can use your choice. But SAP is using zero balance splitting or zero balance clearing account, you can say. Debit 5,000. Profit center 2. You want profit center 2 should be debited. Now profit center 2 is debited, profit center 2 is credited. At profit center level, this is fine. But profit center 1, here it is debited 5,000. Still there is no credit. So for profit center 2 purpose, we need one more credit line item. So here what it will do, the same GL account, again zero balance clearing account. This is credited with 5,000, and now what is missing? Profit center 1 is missing. So system will put here profit center 1. Now profit center 1 is debited, profit center 1 is credited with 5,000. This is also fine. So in this way, system will post entry after zero balance splitting. This GL account one time is debited, and the same GL account one time is credited with the same amount. But profit center account assignment is different. But whenever you see at a document level, at company code level, in your trial balance, the same GL account is debited 5,000 and credited 5,000. If you draw the ledger for zero balance splitting, debit 5,000, credit 5,000. What is the balance? 0. So in your trial balance, zero balance clearing account is containing balance 0. In your P&L account and balance sheet, the zero balance splitting balance is 0. It's like you don't have that GL account at all. No problem with your accounting rules at company code level. And now it ensures that at profit center 1 level, if I prepare P&L account, both debit credit is there. Profit center 2 level also, both debit and credit is there. It is fulfilling double entry system here also. So the accurate financial statements I will get. For each and every debit, there is a corresponding credit also I am fulfilling. So for this, additionally, you need to create the GL account zero balance, and you need to tell to the system whenever this type of situation arises, the document is balancing fine, but characteristic is not balancing. Then at that time, system will use this GL account and it will fulfill the characteristic also is balanced. Not only profit center, if you have segment, anything, whatever you want, system will ask you at which level you want zero balance splitting. I need to ensure at which characteristic. Is it only profit center or is it segment also you want? If you want more than one characteristic also you can do. Okay, so these are the different type of splitting rules, and how this splitting rules will work actually. These splitting rules, for example, what splitting rule is saying, which line item need to be splitted based on which line item. If you have multiple splitting rule for these GL accounts, you need to specify only this splitting rule. So that means what we are feeling, we need to assign the splitting rule to the GL account. Generally, that is the required. Splitting rule need to be assigned to GL account. But how many GL accounts you have? Thousands of GL accounts I have. Then for each and every GL account, you need to go and assign splitting rule. GL account 1 I assign GL account 2. For 1000 GL accounts, if I have 1000 splitting rules, fine. But I have maybe 50 or 60 or 30 or 20 splitting rule. And on the other hand side, I have 1000 GL accounts. So that means what we are doing, for so many GL accounts, for multiple GL accounts, we are assigning same splitting rule. For example, there is a splitting rule 1. Splitting rule 2, splitting rule 3, like that. This is splitting rule 1. I am assigning to the GL account 1. Next, I have GL account 2. But even though the GL account is different, I want to use the same splitting rule. Whether the nature of GL is same or whatever be the reason, at the end you decided for GL account 2 also I want to use the splitting rule 1. Then again assign for GL account 2 splitting rule 1. Then GL account 3 I don't want. GL account 4 I want to use splitting rule 1. That means like multiple GL accounts you are using same splitting rule. Even though you need to do 1000 times, right? 1000 records like this, whether same rule or different rule. But I need GL account 1 you have to assign, GL account 2 you have to assign, GL account 3 you have to assign. 1000 times I need to assign. How to avoid this if you are assigning same rule? And SAP decided for which GL accounts you want to assign the same rules. All those GL accounts you make it as a one group. This group name will be called in SAP in the new GL accounting is a item category. In SD module we have item category, that's different. In logistics module, in financial accounting, in new GL accounting you have item category. What does it mean? Item category means a group of GL accounts or similar GLs for which you want to assign same splitting rule, that is called item category. A group of GL accounts for which you want to assign same splitting rules. So that GL account group name we will call it as a item category. For example, here item category is 1000, this name I am giving. Now, after item category concept, instead of assigning splitting rule 1 to GL account 1, splitting rule 1, GL account 2, splitting rule 1 to the GL account 5, all 1 to 5, I make it as a one group, that is 1000. And for this item category 1000, I will assign the splitting rule. Then within the 1000, whatever GL accounts are there, for all those GL accounts, the same splitting rule is applicable. So in this way, what we will do, splitting rules will not be assigned to the GL accounts. Now what we will do, splitting rules need to be assigned to the item category. So we need to assign splitting rules to the item categories. And how to group this? Generally, we don't do specifically, I mean to say like the same picture. You need to go and assign the GL accounts which you want to group as a 1000. First, for item category, create a 1000. For 1000, you assign GL account 1, 2, 5, whatever you want. The GL account need to be assigned to the item categories. So in that way, we will make it, and for that item categories, we will assign the splitting rules. And item category you are saying here 1000, and item category 2000 or 3000, like that. How many is required? These item categories as per your requirement. Again here SAP what it did, the standard item categories are there. SAP created already some item categories. Whatever SAP created, that we are calling it as a standard item categories. SAP provided some item categories. If you want, you can use same. Over and above, if you want a different item category, then you can create your own item category also. Okay. Now let's see in the system. We'll go and configure the document splitting functionality. Financial accounting, general ledger accounting, business transactions, document splitting, define document splitting characteristics for general ledger accounting. That means first you need to decide at which level, at which characteristic level you want to split your line items. For example, in our case, profit center I use, right? Or segment or business area, which is the criteria you want to take to split your line items. That means other than company code level, at which level you are expecting the financial statement should be accurate and you need to prepare. So that characteristic you need to tell to the system, at this level I want the document splitting. And here you can see the system is not asking company code. That means whenever you are deciding at which characteristic level I need to split my accounting document line items, you need to keep in mind not only one company code requirement. As a corporate group, at business organization level, at highest level, you need to decide which you want to follow to decide the accounting line items need to be splitted, or what is the criteria you need to take to prepare your financial statements below company code level. The SAP has given multiple fields. You can click on the new entries button. For example, here business area, profit center, segment is there. At which level you want that, you can click on new entries button and you can add it. For example, I want to do at profit center level, then select profit center, and then do you want zero balance splitting also at profit center level? If you are expecting the P&L account and balance sheet 100% accurate at profit center level, you need to activate the zero balance splitting functionality also I want. And if you want to ensure that each and every accounting line item should contain the profit center, then you can select mandatory field also. The profit center is a mandatory. Without profit center, now SAP will not allow to post any accounting document. Each and every line item should contain, whether you entered manually or system derived automatically. And in the same way, I want segment level reporting also. Then in that case, at segment level also, I need zero balance splitting. And segment also is a mandatory field. Okay, save it. Now here what SAP has did, all splitting rules or whatever the splitting rules you want, all SAP has collected and they created under one method that is called splitting method. Highest level we can say splitting method. This splitting method will contain multiple splitting rules. There are different methods are there by the standard SAP itself. Generally, SAP will recommend, will use the splitting method 0012, which is the same like 002, but it will do follow-up costs online. For example, 101 and 111, this is country specific, and this is also same splitting rules like 12, but there is a little difference is there between 1 and 2 and 12. Now SAP recommends you use the 12, and over and above if you want you can create within that method again any specific splitting rules. Right? So here instead of using the same method which is given by standard SAP in real time, you can copy that method into your own, and then that method you can assign, or that method you can use it. Because in further upgrades, in further coming future releases, future versions, if they make change, immediately that change will not impact you. Later you can analyze what will be the change. If yes, you can adapt it. If you don't want, you don't need to adapt that change. Right? So I am copying here. Create our own method by copying from the standard 0012 and change the code. Same I am putting Z0012. Okay, so you got a message number of copied entries is 1 fine, then save it. Here what you can do, copy from 0012 splitting method which is given by standard SAP. The next one is define document splitting rules. As I told you, whatever the splitting rules required, different type of splitting rules, or we will collect under one name. That highest level we are calling it as a splitting method. Now this splitting method will contain multiple rules. Now you can see the first column is a method and the description, and here we have for splitting method there is a splitting rule, and for that we assigned business transaction, and then for that it is already assigned business transaction variant. This is already done by the standard SAP, and see how many rules are there. For example, our one we want to use 12, right? The 12 is containing different, this 12 method is containing different rules. Copy all these 12 splitting method rules and remaining are different. Click on copy as button. The splitting method 0012 we are copying into Z0012. That means all the rules, whatever is there in 0012, the same rule, first we are copying initially to our own splitting method. Later, we can see if is it matching our requirement, fine. Otherwise, we can go and modify slightly. Or if completely it's different, then you can create your own rule. Press enter. The entry to be copied has dependent entries. That means this splitting rule has a different entries at lower level. Do you want to copy that also? Yes. Click on copy all. The number of entries, dependent entries are copied 14. In the same way for next splitting rule, click on copy all button. This has dependent entries 15. This rule, almost 10 some rules are there, so everything we need to do in the same way. So now we have the same rules is copied into our own method Z0012. Save it. Now here you can see, for example, if you take any one rule, vendor invoice, related thing, item categories to be edited. That means which item category need to be edited, which item category need to be split. Item category is nothing but it is containing GL accounts. The splitting rule, which line items need to be edited, which GL accounts need to be edited. So these item categories need to be edited, these GL accounts need to be edited. That means for the item categories 1100, whatever GL accounts you assigned, all those GL accounts can be edited based on which GL account. Now whatever the GL accounts you assigned to the item category, to these item categories, based on that GL account, these GL accounts can be edited. Okay, this we can see later. Then assign document splitting method. This is at client level. By default, you can see the document splitting functionality is activated at client level, and you don't have option to deactivate at client level. You have to use it. And the method by default, SAP is using 0012. If we want, we can use same 0012. As I told, if you want to use instead of the standard one which is given, that you copied into your one, and into that you can assign it. Okay. If it is a real time, this is client level, and you change it to Z0012, and that you want to follow, that it will be continued. But here it is a test system. If I assign to here Z0012, If someone is using already 0012 and posted the documents, maybe for them it's a issue. That's why here I'm not assigning. If it is our real-time system or if it is our own system, no one will touch, then in that case, you go and change the method from 0012 to Z0012 you can assign. And then select inheritance checkbox. What does inheritance we discuss? And then standard account assignment, maybe you can remove it, not required that. So I'm not changing. First of all, assume here we assign Z0012 and then inheritance checkbox and remove standard account assignment. Save it. And now whatever we told, the item categories, the splitting rules, the item categories we will assign. And then for item categories, we need to assign the GL accounts. Classify GL accounts for document splitting. What is the chart of accounts we created? I think IN10 same. CA10. Click on new entries button. And these are the item categories already created by standard SAP. And if you want more than this, you can create your own. For example, balance sheet accounts. And now, whatever I told previously, for which GL accounts you want to make it, for which GLs you want to assign same splitting rule, all those you make it as a one category, item category. For example, 1000 here, that 0000 is created by standard SAP. For which purpose they created? For balance sheet accounts. Now, for which balance sheet accounts you want to assign the same splitting rule, and all those GL accounts you can assign to this item category. And this item category is assigned to the splitting rule that is already done by standard SAP. So 01000 is assigned to some splitting rule. Now you assign which GL accounts you want to assign this item category, and indirectly that is applicable to particular splitting rule. So here what I am doing, all I am assigning, for example, all our liabilities. Let's see the account groups, then you will get idea. For example, liabilities we created 1000 to 1999. So all liabilities. I want to assign to the same item category balance sheet account. The next assets also we will use same, but here you can see one separate item category is their cash account. That means all cash accounts we are making as a separate one group. So the balance sheet accounts within this, under asset side we will create the cash account, right? For example, reserve, the first 100 accounts maybe we will use. The initial 100 numbers we will go with the cash accounts. So that I am assigning to the cash account. So whenever you are creating cash accounts, you need to create within this range only serially. That will help to assign all one particular range to a item category. If you create one GL number 200, 100 cash account, 200, 200 cash account like that, so we need to maintain multiple rows. So whenever you are deciding your number range to a particular group of accounts, for example, cash accounts like that, You need to put all in a one range in one sequence manner. That will help us to assign to the same category with only one row. Otherwise, you need to go multiple rows. Next, remaining assets, that is 200, 1012, 29999. All I am assigning again to the same balance sheet accounts. These are all. Next, we are using expenses. For expense purpose, item category, we have same expense. Within this, again, if we want any modification, later we can delimit this range and we will assign it. As of now, everything I am putting under expense. Whenever we go for fixed assets, or maybe whenever we are doing the recon accounts customer, at that time we can delimit that customer recon accounts you can assign to the customer. Advance you can assign to the customer special GL, same vendor recon, vendor advance payments. The tax accounts, withholding tax separately, that we'll do. As of now, the revenue I am assigning all revenues under one bucket, same. That means same item category, same splitting rule for all revenues. At present, save it. And in the next class, we'll see here the whenever we are seeing the splitting rules, we saw like the different terms. What is a business transaction variant, so that we can discuss, and then we can post the documents. Okay, so as of now, if you have any doubt, then you can ask. And if you don't have any doubts, you can close it.